Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Techno. Today we've got two videos that were sent in to me by a North America player, 64 Galaxy 500 XL, but let's be honest, we don't want to keep saying that over and over again, so for the remainder of the video, let's just call him Galaxy. So Galaxy submitted two videos to me. This one, the first one we're going to start with, is him playing his M10 Wolverine, and he is on the map Lakeville. It is a standard battle map, meaning you gotta capture the flag or kill all of the members of the enemy team. Either one, they don't care. Preferably the latter. Anyway, so the Wolverine is a Tier 5 US tank destroyer. It is the line that leads up to the non-turreted tank destroyers. However, it does have a turret, which is, you know, kind of interesting. Now, it does also have 50 millimeters of armor, which is, we don't really want to rely on it, but it's there at least. It's not like 15. So, and it also has a 105 millimeter howitzer, which is probably the most fun to use, albeit a little bit unreliable. You can do like 80 damage, or you can do like 400 damage, depending on whether or not it pins the enemy's armor. It does also have a 76 millimeter with 128 pin, 115 damage, 18 rounds a minute. However, it is the lowest pin of any gun on any Tier 5 tank destroyer. Oh, by the way, this scout, yeah, don't do that. Anyway, so what we have here on this map is Galaxy's heading up the western flank of Lakeville. So there's generally three routes people go. They go the center, they go the town, or they go the west side. And Galaxy has chosen the west. Now the good thing about this is he is in an American tank. Well, I say tank destroyer. Now the nice thing about American tanks, as hopefully you will know, is they have excellent gun depression. And what do you have right here? You have a great hill. And so if you're in an American vehicle and you find yourself on the west side of Lakeville, this is a great place to go. You can basically keep yourself pretty much not exposed to enemy fire, yet able to just kind of creep up and slam shots into the enemy vehicles. Now what we see Galaxy doing here, which is a little bit kind of, yeah, maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, is he's actually using his view range and camo to try to spot and not be spotted by the enemy that he knows are down at the other end of this valley. Now, the M10 Wolverine actually has one of the highest view ranges of any Tier 5 tank destroyer, or any Tier 5 in general. It's got a default view range of 370 millimeters, which is pretty good. When you combine that with the view range provided by his binoculars, he actually has a effective view range to the back of the entire valley. So it's a good place to be for him. Now, what he can also do, and as you'll notice here, what he is doing is he kind of moves up, lets his camo and his binoculars engage, and then kind of plants rounds into people as they become visible. And he kind of lets other people take the rounds for him as he kind of scoots back down the hill, so he's only exposing his turret, and just kind of plops rounds into people while they're focusing on the rest of his team. I would have personally had a little bit of a, I gotta get up and help this AT2 because he's getting picked off by these three tank destroyers. However, remember, he is in a very light-skinned vehicle. There's three enemy tank destroyers, two of which are Tier 6 with very powerful guns. And what he's doing right here is actually exactly what you want to do if you find yourself in this situation where basically the rest of your team is decently holding together. So you don't necessarily need to push this flank, you just need to hold this flank. And so what he's doing, and this is one of the reasons why I feel Galaxy is probably one of the best Wolverine drivers I've seen, is he just absolutely expertly, with such precision, drives and guns his Wolverines. Again, using the same tactic that we just talked about earlier, he's basically scooting up about a foot or two, waits a few seconds, lets his camo net engage, lets his binoculars engage, increases that view range, and tries to spot enemies. Now, the thing that you guys may or may not know about view range, so if you have a view range of 370 meters and the enemy is 300 meters away, oh, by the way, yeah, remember when I talked about Wolverines having a really light skin? Yep. So the Wolverine's side armor is 19 millimeters. Just to give you guys an idea why he just one-shot basically the same tank as him. It's 19, so he basically pinned, did full damage, has a top-end damage of 410, average can go higher, and He one-shot him. He did take a round from the Jagdpanzer 4 at the other end of the valley, that one, and it did hit his gun mantlet. One of the strongest places that they could have hit was his gun mantlet, and as you can tell, it was a good thing because it did actually eat the shell. Now, what I was saying about view range is that view range works two ways. So yeah, it lets you spot things that are visible immediately, i.e. not in cover, they're sitting out in the middle of the field. If it's 370 meters away from you and you have 380, you spot it. But the second thing it does is it counteracts the camo rating of the other vehicle. So if you have a view range, because there is a max effective view range, if your view range is more than that, you may have a tendency to say like, well, then I don't need any more because that's the maximum I could actually ever possibly spot. But that's not quite the case, because what it's doing, aside from giving you a maximum effective spotting range, Hellcat down, is it's counteracting the camo value of the vehicle you're also attempting to spot. And Jagdpanzer 4 down. So by him doing this, it actually was worthwhile. So that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Anyway, so what he's done, Galaxy's done a fantastic job over on this flank. By using the hold down position, by using his armor effectively, he is able to also, another, look at that right there, perfect. Galaxy definitely knows how to drive a tank. What does he do? He parks, hold down basically behind the wreck of that other Wolverine to scout the rest of the valley. Another just, you know, that just little things like that tell you that, okay, this person's probably driven quite a few tanks. Anyway, but he does a great job pushing this valley. He was outnumbered 3-1. He had patience, let his armor be effective, only exposing the parts that were effective, and just slowly wearing down his enemy. Luckily, the enemy vehicles he was fighting were light-skinned, so it allowed his howitzer to be very, very effective. Anyway, so as we push up here, we're pushing around to the enemy base. We do have an AMX-12T, which could kill us pretty quickly if it's not, if it does have ammo, which, however, won't be a problem. We plant a 412 damage, that's a full damage, full pin, into the turret of that AMX-12T. I believe the AMX-12T stores ammo up there. I know it has at least one crew member up there, so that would have been a pretty devastating hit anyway. But I believe the Leopard then, or the look over there, killed him soon after. Anyway, that's basically this game, guys. Let's go ahead and look at how he does after the cap here. Alright, as we can see, Galaxy has secured an Ace Tanker badge. He's got 25,000 credits and 1121 XP. If we go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard here, we can see that he secured 4 kills and 1892 damage. That 1892 damage was only 9 rounds because he had so many full penetrations with his 105mm howitzer for that 410 average damage. He was able to walk away with 23,000 credits, which is a great result. Alright, let's go ahead and check out Galaxy's next video. In this video, we're on Sand River. It is a standard battle yet again. Go ahead and forward ahead a little bit here. Now, Galaxy has gone to the west flank again. This is actually a really good area for the M10 because he has these nice sand dunes to kind of crest around. So instantly we spot a Type 58, that's the Tier 6 medium Chinese line. It's a pretty decent tank. It's got a 85mm, 160 damage, 125 pin, I believe, with the default gun, 128 with the top gun. It is only a 45mm armor, though, on the hull, so that's a great place for him to fire, which he does plant a few rounds in. And he's going to just kind of work this ridge here. This is exactly what you want to do with a vehicle like this. It's got that sloped armor on the front, and it's got excellent gun depression. Do spot a Crusader here over on the west flank. We're going to try around into that, but it goes a little to the right. Now Galaxy is going to continue to keep poking this ridge line, spotting enemies basically for the team on this side. This position really has to be occupied by somebody when you're playing this game mode on this map, otherwise they will flank around behind your secondary starting location there in the bottom west corner. Alright, Galaxy has now spotted a KV-1S. We're going to go ahead and try to put some rounds into him. We do manage to get one hit, and then suddenly we spot a Nashorn. The Nashorn is a very, very light-skinned vehicle, so for vehicles like the Wolverine, that fire an HE round, it is definitely the type of vehicle you want to plant rounds into early to remove that, A, really big gun, because it is a tank destroyer, but also because you know you're going to get, generally, almost full damage out of your high explosive rounds. Galaxy's going to go ahead and start backing away from this KV-1S, trying to get another shot in before we kind of move back below the ridgeline here. And you can see that, yeah, his scooting back a little bit there really paid off. That round going into the gun mantlet of the Wolverine there, which is, again, the strongest place really on the tank. So hold down positions like what he's putting himself into here really do pay off. Galaxy also seems to have quite the knack for ducking back into cover just when he needs to. So, and just another sign of an experienced Wolverine player. Alright, at this point we've got a ARL-44 over on the flank there, and a T-34-85. Look at that shot. That was beautiful. Galaxy showing his expertise in the 105mm here, leading a full-speed T-34-85 as it moves along the flank. Very good snapshot there. He's got him down to 300 health, but he's going to move back behind this rock. We'll see if we can catch him on the other side. We do, but we don't quite get the damage roll we were looking for. We left him on 17 health. Let's see if we can finish him off. And we do have a KV-1S on the hill. Alright, we did finish off the T-34-85. We're going to go ahead and plant some rounds into this KV-1S, try to teach him the error of his ways, so to speak. Low roll there, only 89 damage, but he notices that the KV-1S is pointing his gun toward him and ducks back behind the ridge. Again, fantastic kind of danger sense in this vehicle. It's exactly what you need to do in a light-skinned vehicle like this. Same thing would apply to Hellcats and a wide variety of tank destroyers, actually. Alright, you can see him setting up on this ridge here, putting his binoculars and camo net to good use, since he doesn't have to turn the whole of his vehicle to look around. Because of this turret here, he's able to keep those bonuses active even while he kind of looks around in this kind of a guard position up here. That's one of the fantastic things about the American tank destroyer lines that have turrets, and also this would apply to, say, the German tank destroyers with their turrets as well on the one auto-loading line. However, we did lose 2 of the allies there in the valley, so we do need to make sure we stay here to guard this flank. We do have 2 enemy tanks still on this flank, and we want to make sure that we secure that before we try to relocate to the east to help out the troops there. And we're just waiting for the ARL at this point. Oh, and we spot the Crusader. Can we get a round in? That one goes a little high and right, so we do miss the Crusader here. He's on low health, so it'd be an easy kill for us. And he stopped, and the Bishop gets the kill. But remember, guys, there is no such thing as kill stealing in World of Tanks. Kills don't mean anything. It's all about damage. Alright, we're going to go ahead and plant our around to the ARL-44 there. Looks like his spider senses were tingling on that one. He backs away just in time to avoid that round again. I can't get over how good he is at dodging damage. It's fantastic. We only did 15 damage on the ARL there, but we did track him, and he then was killed. Remember, guys, if you track or stop a vehicle in any way, basically blow out their engine, when they are disabled, any damage coming in, you receive 50% of the XP from that damage. So it's not all a bad thing. Alright, he notices that the east is looking a little rough. Keep your eye on that Jagdpanzer IV there. Notice him moving about or behind that hill. If you ask me, there's only one place he can come out of when you go back there, and sadly, Galaxy doesn't seem to have noticed, to his detriment, as we'll see here in a second. The Jagdpanzer IV, a very, very high DPM vehicle, so we're not going to be able to put enough rounds into him before we get destroyed. Anyway, they do go on to lose this game, but it is a very fantastic game. Let's take a look at the scoreboard real quick. So you can see here the Galaxy did a fantastic job. Confederate ace tanker and earns his first star with the Wolverine. That's very impressive. He earns 30,000 credits and 1,268 base XP. A fantastic game in anyone's book. Does 1722 damage. Sorry, that was the Hellcat actually. It was 1612 damage. 15 rounds fired, 11 hits, 1 splash damage. Remember, we are using a howitzer, so we can definitely splash enemies if we get close enough. He took 3 rounds, 2 penetrated, but that was only the front gun mantle, so it didn't actually do any damage, and then 1 non-penetrating hit off the armor. All in all, it was a great game for Galaxy, earning 25,000 credits again. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the videos. Remember, if you have some you'd like me to show, and they're pretty freaking awesome, just send them to the email address on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.